everyone. Before we begin, let us meet the end. Don't take me wrong, this is a word game where all the answers end with the chosen word.
So today's word is nation. We'll be asking you certain questions. Make sure that your answer ends with nation. Are you ready, Rishita?
Yes, I'm ready. Audience, are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Here we go. What is the nation that all students are scared of?
Examination.
That's right. What is the nation that you reach after your travel?
Destination.
Wow, good going.
Yeah.
What is the nation that you show if you are commitment?
Dedication.
Dedication.
No,
That
You should
nation.
end with
That
nation.
nation. That should be nation.
Determination.
Yes, I believe all of us have that infused in us. We should just unlock it. Now, next is what is the nation that helps you go anywhere you want instantaneously?
Imagination.
Oh, I guess we all love imagining. Thank you. Next,
Can you
Tanvi.
name a nation that helps us fight against COVID?
Vaccination.
That's the nation all our nation should get, actually. That was a wonderful one. I think we can go ahead. Good morning, everyone. As tidbits coming from the directions make news, four of us here will try to talk about some part of geopolitics. I am
I'm Sahasra.
I'm Rishita.
Yeah, I am Bhavani.
We are here today from Geopolitical News to talk about geopolitics around the world and how different aspects can affect us and how different things happen around us due to geopolitics.
Our first reporter Tanvi will begin with the talk about Brexit in the EU. Over to you, Tanvi.
Yes. Brexit is one of the most controversial issues. Brexit means the withdrawal of the UK from the European Union. There were differences in many regulations like policies, currencies, financial settlement, no control over immigration, and that is why they couldn't sustain. But Brexit would in turn be an economic disaster because Europe accounts for nearly half of UK's exports. The European Union does not want Britain to leave, but we have to face whatsoever happens because it's already done. All right, the next stop is the origin place of the biggest boy band BTS. Without any further ado, passing the spotlight to Sahasra.
The Soviet Union and US, North Korea, South Korea. Korea had been annexed by Japan in 1910, but with the Japanese defeat in World War II, the peninsula was temporarily divided. The Soviet Union controlled the north, whereas US controlled the south, with a plan to unify Korea into one country. Then the Cold War took place, and both the countries hated each other and were less willing to cooperate. There was a 3-year war which brought a lot of bread but no change. Now, coming back to our homeland.
There are many territorial disputes between India and China. For instance, the Sino-Indian border dispute is an ongoing territorial dispute over the sovereignty of two separated pieces of territory between China and India. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru's refusal to negotiate and his attempt to make the Indian claims good on the ground through military force is what has challenged China to war. But if the government of India tries to reverse Nehru's approach and agrees to negotiate, the settlement could still be reached. One of the most contemporary issues is the Northeast India. It's going too haywire. Let's listen to it.
Uniform Indians kill uniform Indians. The Northeast is very perplexed, to be honest. It's all border conflicts again. All of them were initially one, but later got divided with people's involvement. First, the British, it had redrawn the borders by the consultation of Mizo tribal chiefs, and then all were okay with it. Then later, they removed those traditional borders and drew them again. After that, Indira Gandhi made all the states independent by the latest, as in the 1975 maps of the British redrawn ones. And that is the problem. So those tribes' ethnicities, food, language, traditions, and all are so different. And this is all because of a lack of understanding and no appreciation for them. When there's a better understanding, there's actually at least some unity in diversity. Now, the most enduring and perplexing issue of the world involves some of the world's most popular superpowers. It's the Palestine and Israel. It's just that they're fighting for the area again, which wasn't theirs. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the world's most enduring conflicts, with the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip reaching 54 years of conflict. The Jews who were persecuted and not treated well came from all over the globe. Most of them saw their future homeland in Israel, went and occupied it suddenly. But the Israelis and Arabs didn't want it to happen at all. Various attempts have been made to resolve the conflict as a part of Israeli-Palestinian peace process. There were actually innumerable wars, protests, and a series of crises too. Here it isn't about who wins land, but it's more about protecting your own homeland for Israel. Currently, the unipolar world, as in the United States of America, is wanting to step out of the global order. Does its poking nose attitude everywhere work at all times?
On one hand, China is currently the United States' third largest goods trading partner, while on the other hand, the US is the largest consumer of Chinese goods. But there's a kind of cold war between them. One of the things that happened recently is that the official representative of Taiwan was for the first time invited to America's presidential inauguration of Joe Biden. It was a powerful step to China. And if America steps out of the global order, China, emerging as a superpower later, it's going to fall to the ground and Dragon is going to die. It has to behave itself. Now, it has two more almost equal superpowers coming as rivalries, questioning its two broken paths to lead.
China, USA, and Europe. For more than 70 years, the US has been giving funds and has a massive military presence in Europe. After seeing this, Trump questioned why they should have a military presence in Europe when they have so many resources already. Angela Merkel agrees with it. The problem here is that people are not ready to pay for their military. Later, nearing the end of 2020, Europe joined its hands with China to boost businesses with an investment. Here, the timing stood out. The agreement was signed 3 weeks before Joe Biden's administration. Although his administration tried to stop Europe from making the deal, Europe went ahead and sealed the deal. Now, Europe wants to stay neutral when there is a growing rivalry between China and US. Is this really possible? Rising China increases a lot of curiosity as well as questions. Shifting the limelight to reporter Rishita.
Tibet is an autonomous region of the People's Republic of China. After the fall of the Qing dynasty, Tibet experienced a few decades of independence. Civil war broke out between the Chinese nationalist government and the Communist Party, who won and annexed Tibet in 1951. The nationalist government fled to Taiwan. It is cruel to take away the independence of Tibet. It's like the British colonizing India again after independence, which is never going to happen again. Another issue is booking a seat in the theater of the Chinese place.
China and Hong Kong. It is a part of China but has a special administrative status called One China, Two Systems policy. Mass protests took place when a controversial extradition bill was proposed. Even after the bill was withdrawn due to the protests, they continued revolting for a new cause. They wanted a full democracy. Protesters were often subject to police brutality and arrest for going against the government. We know this is brutal. Its trade remains to be another question imperative to ask. China's trade. China trades with every country in Asia and mostly targets Japan, Korea, and Australia, which are strong allies of US, to make them dependent on itself. For example, Australia is heavily dependent on exporting iron ore and natural gas to China. For poor countries, China reduces tariffs and they become independent on exporting to China as well. Due to this, China is becoming the anchor of economy here. This is like a marketing strategy to attract all kinds of customers around into their shop. Doesn't it make you question to what extent China is reliable to others? Another puzzling place to be in the entire world is in the Middle East.
The oil used to be one of the forces holding Iraq together, but it had led to the country's disintegration, the reason being Kurdistan. Kurds are guarding the pipelines. Iraq is the second largest oil producer in the world behind Saudi Arabia. In order for Kurdistan to profit from its oil, it should export it to Turkey or Syria and Iraq itself, and also should have good relations with them. What might solve this problem is infrastructure. Independence alone without infrastructure is futile, according to Parag Khanna. Now, as mentioned before already, the US likes to poke its nose everywhere. It did in the Middle East also. And the US had poured enormous resources in there. Now, the people of the US are regretting as they feel that they were too busy improving the Middle East and could not pay attention to China's increasing economy, which has led to many consequences. Now, it's hard for the US to shift its priorities as it has sunk many of its resources, mainly in the Middle East. Let's listen to some more analysis by other famous personalities in reporters Tanvi's words.
This is indeed a very interesting topic. Having been said that the US pokes its nose everywhere, it's present in the Afghan as well. Its public aims were to dismantle a dangerous terrorist organization and deny it a safe base of operations in Afghanistan by removing the Taliban from power. In 1979, the Soviet Union intervened in Afghanistan. The conflict in Afghanistan consists of Afghan army troops backed by the additional US troops fighting against the insurgents of the Taliban and other groups also. The Taliban sought to establish an Islamic government through law and order alongside a strict interpretation of some law. They have a conflict about that. According to the information, it's still an ongoing war, and they have to resolve it as soon as possible. Returning back to the studio to listen to Ms. Lakshmi Bhavani, who will take us on a tour of the guest lectures.
Yeah. Thank you, Tanvi, Sahasra, and Rishita. And for the audience, I want to mention one thing, and don't think that they were just giving us lots of information. They watched all the videos, they made their own notes. I don't know how much time they spent with the videos, and while making that Canva, that PPT, or that one also, they spent together a lot of time. For that, I really appreciate. It shows their attitude towards learning. Okay. Yeah, of course, after that, their talk, after their knowledge, what I have is very, very little, to be frank. I told them not to include my photo also, but they were so generous. Like, no, ma'am, we want to show your picture also in as the presenters. And in this course, first, I suggest all the teachers to have a look at the website, because as a teacher, for me as a teacher, the takeaways, the way ma'am has designed the website homepage itself, it shows the authority what the creator of the course is having over the content. So generally, whenever somebody is giving the course, we expect them, what is the authority, or how the person really deserves that one. So the homepage, yeah, that is very well made. And then next, she used that our inquiry steps, right? Tuning in, sorting out, going further. Few steps she has used that one, and then very relevant content and the videos. What is contemporary? What are the latest videos? Only those things she has added. So as a teacher, it was very interesting for me to check the website. And here and there, she has given opportunities for the students to build their website while giving the feedback or while completing other tasks. Okay. Yeah. Coming to the course, we had 2 guest lectures. Okay. One was by Mr. Shashidhar Patri from Bangalore campus. Okay. And the way how he had taken us on a world tour, each and every issue what they were talking now, the students, like that long time back, how it has started from Ottoman Empire, and then Russia, the conflict, how Russia was a superpower and how it disintegrated everything. And apart from that, actually what caught my attention, giving the resources. Before you start any lecture or anything, whatever resources you think are authentic, giving them to the audience, it always helps. He has mentioned the most dangerous place, the New Silk Road, and then Prisoners of Geography. That thing really, it was interesting. I want to order that book. So, and then of course, news channels also. We are bombarded with news from all the directions. Which one to follow? And he has mentioned a few resources. And out of this one, Shekhar Gupta's Cut the Clutter. Yes, because we want the neutral stand, so that now it is up to me which stand I want to take. Initially, if I want to see somebody's point of view, I will be getting carried away. So those resources he has given. Of course, for certain things, it was difficult for me to follow because I did not do my homework properly. I did not watch all the videos. Let me confess. Okay. And the next one, we had a guest talk by Mr. Revant, you know him, right? And he is an authentic historian. And on that day, he spoke about India's stand, especially Israel-Palestine issue. When we got independence, our stand was different. We were supporting Palestine. And now we are shifting towards Israel because we are getting something in return. So in politics, one thing I always believe, yes, there are no permanent enemies and no permanent friends. That's it. It is about what is that you are getting. And at the same time, are you really compromising with your ethics and values? That is what actually I can talk about it. So he has nearly for 50 minutes, he has given a beautiful presentation, how we started shifting our stand, loyalty towards Israel. Okay. That's it. Is that okay, Sahasra? Do I need to talk something else?
Yes, ma'am. That was
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation. The three
Okay.
young
Yeah.
ladies, the
Future.
three young
Yeah.
ladies and Bhavani ma'am. Thank you
Yeah,
so
just
much.
a minute, ma'am. Future.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
so we were discussing about the future in one of these sites. Let me check the site. What is this? Yeah, Center for Strategic and International Studies. They have presented 4 wonderful scenarios, possible scenarios. So next 10 years, 10 to 15 years, who is going to lead? As our previous presenters, Manas and then Chaitra, how they have focused on China, right? So they have given 4 scenarios. First one is skull and bones. That means the pandemic is going to continue. We don't know how many waves we need to ride on, and because of that, later internal issues, and then India and Pakistan, they start a war, and then slowly the entire world. All these things will happen. That is skull and bones. Weak United States, weak China. And the second possible scenario is where United States comes out very strong. Stars and stripes. They call this scenario as stars and stripes. When weak China. All these scenarios start with how they handle COVID. How they handled COVID. It was published in last September last year. And the third scenario, hammer and sickle, as the name suggests, communism. China, how China becomes so powerful and then outsmarting United States of America. And the fourth one, what I believe in is strong United States and strong China. They call this scenario as yin and yang model. Both of them, they've used the word that how they cooperate in a competition. So like with that one, the balance is maintained. Both of them emerge as strong powers. Of course, China definitely, no, we can't ignore. Everybody knows. Yeah, I think, yeah.
This is brought to you by the
No, just I
Geopolitics
want to
News.
test
Hope
that
you all enjoyed.
they're asleep or not. Okay, what is the nation that puts all the animals into sleep during winter? Only science teachers can answer. What is the nation that puts all animals into sleep?
Hibernation.
Oh, excellent. Good. Hibernation. Yeah, they're awake. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. Can't expect anything less than from all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.